And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Talking Business, our video interview series, talk with leaders in the field of banking, insurance, customer service, marketing, and business education, all to highlight our team at CBSI. We're in Harrison, New York. We provide insurance-based benefits to the credit card and payments industry. Now, we're really glad to have back with us Donna Peterson, who is the CEO of World Innovators in Connecticut. And Donna, good to see you. How you doing?
Oh, I am doing wonderful, Ken. I'm happy to be here.
That's great. Well, you have, we talked just in early 2021, just as we're all still in the midst of COVID and so much changed. Your company comes out of what we used to call the list business,
Yes.
an industry I came out of back in the 80s. First, Donna, tell us a little bit about your company, World Innovators.
Well, World Innovators, like you mentioned, Ken, started 42 years ago as a list company. And at the time, it was my mother who founded the company, and she saw a need for good quality business to business, at that time, mailing lists. And so she went around the world talking with conference companies and publishers about their lists so that Frost and Sullivan or business publishers or Caltech could use these good quality lists to get people to buy their products or attend their events. Of course, as marketing evolved, so did our company. We had to. We had to evolve to, stay alive. And so we went into the email marketing space, and now we've evolved into a full service marketing agency because it is imperative for companies to have their marketing messages out in front of their target audience wherever they might be. So maybe they might see a postal piece or an email or social media or a banner. We help you figure that out. Know your target audience, put your messaging out there so that you can build a relationship with these prospects to become loyal clients.
Very good. Now, you specialize in business to business and
Mhm.
an area that's really been challenged. Tell us a little bit about how companies are rebounding after the pandemic, a couple of years, and are doing and change some of the ways they do their marketing.
Yeah, well, it has rebound and it has changed drastically since before COVID. And I love it. I love the change. I know a lot of bad things came out of COVID, but this is one of the good things that came out of it because now B2B marketers are starting to concentrate on making quality initiatives. We're no longer bombarding people with, buy my product. I've got the best product. It is about offering value. And that starts with really knowing and understanding your audience. And when you do that, the value in quality marketing, it just becomes more exciting. You build those relationships that last year after year, giving more meaning and purpose to what you're doing.
Very good. Are there, we had a talk from a marketing expert, Bruce Beagle, in New York in January, and he said that direct mail was rebounding, was becoming a prominent channel, especially with work at home. Are there channels that have reemerged as important that they matter after the pandemic?
Oh, I love this question. And I love this question because you've always had it. You've had print is dead, email is dead, social media is dead. And I will say none of them are dead. Every channel has to be based on its own merit, and every channel is good for different industries. Now, I work with a lot of clients, Harvard Kennedy School and industrial auction companies who have very expensive products that they're marketing. So their marketing has to be done differently. You're not going to sell a Harvard Kennedy program off of one social post. You're not going to do that. And so you have to be out there across different channels, creating a messaging, a flow for them to see that you're a thought leader in the space, but also reminding them to take action because we're all so busy these days that if you just send a one off promotion, you're not going to get the results that you used to get.
Very good. Well, we were talking, you were talking a little bit about brand strategy, and trying to reach people across different channels. I mean, you have things that are like programmatic, being in front of people on their mobile phones, and
Yeah.
webinars, and video. You have a video podcast now,
Yes.
which
Yeah, I do.
will we want to recommend to the listeners. How do you build a brand strategy? With part of it being online, part of it being in the mail, part of it possibly, you know, at conferences.
It's you have to truly know and understand your audience. You have to get into their heads of what are their pain points, challenges, what are their goals. When you can really understand them, and here's one of my little tips. I find one of the best ways to truly start to know and understand an audience is go to their trade shows. Go to the industry trade shows, look at the exhibitors, go to the sessions, see what they're all talking about, eavesdrop in on conversations, because that's when you get the meat of it, of knowing what is top of mind for them. And when you get those details, then you can sit down and work out that brand strategy. And knowing that audience, you'll know, hey, you know what? They read this magazine. So let's get a banner there. Let's do an ad in the magazine, whatever it might be in that magazine. If that's what they're reading, that's where you need to be. And then, of course, social posting is great. It's great to use to complement everything else you might be doing. So when it comes down to a brand strategy, one, it's different by industry, but it's also different by your specific target audience. And the only way you can start to create an effective strategy is by knowing and understanding that audience.
Very good, very good. Now, uh, we've been at a couple of business to business trade shows. I was one last fall around the credit card field. It was
Mhm.
down in New Orleans, and just in one in Washington, D.C. In fact, I was at two in Washington, D.C. I went to a meeting of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in January, and just
Nice.
that Navy League, the defense industry really came back strong. At their trade shows, Navy League, and also I go to the Association of the U.S. Army. What is it?
Excellent.
What is it for trade shows people need to keep in mind to be successful?
For a trade show to be successful is you've got to offer value. You have to offer good quality content. And I have to tell you, one of my pet peeves right now with trade shows is the whole pay to play. The speakers have to pay to be there. And one thing I think we all have to be careful about is I want to go to trade shows because I want to hear from the experts. I don't want to go to trade shows just to hear from people who have the biggest pockets. I want to learn from experts. And so I think as a trade show organizer, you've got to make sure you're offering value. And if you are able to attract people to speak because they are a thought leader in their space and because they care about their space in their industry. I think I just mentioned to you, I just did an interview with Terrapin. Terrapin is a conference company, and I was speaking with their CFO. And they mentioned, a lot of our speakers come and they speak because they care about the industry. They want to make sure that people are doing it right. And so they're willing to pay their travel, whatever, and come and they speak. So it's just really caring about the industry that you're in and making sure that there's experts out there speaking about it.
And we see now, and I do it myself, do interviews on trade show floors and trying to get your marketing message out on social media right from a trade show when you're kind
Yes,
of in a promotional mode. And we see some companies actually setting up little studios in their booths at shows. And I see that as a good way to get the message out, get some messaging at it on Twitter as well. Uh,
totally agree. That is a great way to do it because one, it shows people you're out there. You're out, kind of in the meat of it, going to actual industry trade shows. In 2 weeks, I'll be at the Interfex show, and same thing, bunch of pharmaceutical manufacturer and device manufacturers, but I'm out there learning from them, but also then talking to them about marketing and how they can market better in that space.
Yes, and it means making sure you have a Twitter account. Not every company has done that. They thought that that wasn't their market, but it is because you want to show your presence, get your name out there, and describe. It's a good way to show people just the basics about what it is that you do
Yes.
at a trade show. Now, one
Yes.
of the things that I've spent a lot of time on, I even did my master's thesis on it, was how to do sales lead generation,
Mhm.
which we used to do for stockbrokers back in my Dean Witter days. And how, do you help generate sales leads? I see a lot of offers online, and oftentimes it's just someone's doing a sales gen for a salesperson who will actually who will eventually talk to you. What are some of the keys now in sales lead generation that you find working?
Well, I think the first thing when I go into businesses is I like to sit down with the entire team. There can't be separate silos for sales and marketing or even C level. Everyone has to be working together as a group towards that one goal. And I think that's most important is I sit down with those department leaders, ask them, what are your visions and how do they play into the company's mission? And how is your section going to achieve the goals? But we have to make sure that marketing is talking to sales and sales is talking to marketing because they're very much like this, especially if you want to be effective. They have to be like this. They can't be standing out there on their own. So, in regards to the sales leads, that's an interesting thing because when the two groups work together, and I think marketing can put out marketing pieces that really resonate with the individual, offering them value, whether they're offering them a white paper, asking them to download it, or registering for a webinar. If that's a value, it almost saves your sales team 5 steps because by the time the sales team gets that individual, they already know how involved that person is, what they're truly interested in. And now the sales team can take those leads and nurture them into becoming customers, but hopefully really loyal customers.
Well, it's always about the sales funnel, trying
Yeah.
to meet people and then interest them in qualify them that they have a need, and then to be able to talk to them. I'm still a big believer in getting people on the phone
Yeah.
to talk to them. It's really where you start to make advance a sales opportunity. And
You
some
get them on
people.
the phone you get them on the phone, and that's where you can start to really build a relationship, because it'll be more than just, "Okay, this is what I've got for you." It could be, "How was your day? How was your weekend?" And that starts the relationship.
Absolutely. When you know the individual as a person, what's their life about? What's going on? And what are their challenges in their business? And that's one of your real priorities is how to build relationships
Yes.
with businesses and audiences. You come really out of the list business and the international list business. How is it overseas in some of your international work?
It's going strong, and they all agree with that philosophy that no matter what industry you're in, it has to be about building relationships. Because if you don't, it becomes a transactional business. And then people just jump when it only becomes price. So, for instance, as I was talking to the conference company this morning, and I speak with other conference companies, I say to them, how can you stay standing above your competition? And of course, price comes into play. The price of your staffing has increased, the price of the venues have increased. Do you increase then the price of your conference? And if you do, how do you stay competitive? It comes down to offering value, offering educational pieces of information, truly caring about your audience by giving them everything that they need. And then they'll see that. And that's when you form the relationship, but you also start to instill trust because they're like, wow, they get me. If I go to their conference, I'm really going to get the takeaways that I need or the information I need to do my job better.
Very good. Now I got to ask you the question we were talking about a little before we started. Application of AI, Chat GPT, which came out late last year,
Yeah.
and is everybody trying it out? And I don't know what teachers are doing with their
Yeah.
students who use this, but it can be a great way to help writing and provide some different directions. What's your thought about some of these new AI tools which have come out into the marketplace?
Well, when ChatGPT came out in November, I thought it was the answer to my prayers. You know? I'm a good talker. I am not a good writer. So I thought, oh, this is wonderful. But then I slowly started to see what I was doing. I was running after the shiny object. And I think Chat GPT or all the AIs are great, but I think people have to stay a little grounded. Let's not chase after that shiny object. We've got to use it as a baseline, which is great. It does save you time, but it's not the end all. You've got to get whatever information they give you, and then you have to tweak it to your own voice, but you also have to make sure that the information they gave is accurate. I have run into a few things where it wasn't accurate. For instance, a magazine being published by an association when it wasn't. Different little things there that you have to watch. But when you're using it for your marketing materials, sorry to say, I'm getting back to that relationship building. The best way to build a relationship with someone is by showing what makes you unique, what makes you different. So companies have to be careful not to just be regurgitating the same content because then you're all going to be generic and you need to stand out and be unique. So I love it. I just caution companies to be careful. Use it as a baseline. Don't use it as your end all.
And Donna Peterson, CEO of World Innovators, you've got a new podcast out, and it was very interesting to see how you are presenting it. Tell us a little bit about your new podcast.
Well, I don't know how new it is, but we're going into our we've just finished 2 years. So I guess I'm
Okay.
going into my third year. It's the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. I go and I interview business leaders. I talk to them about their specific industries, about what's working, what's not, and what tactics and tips they really can give all of us to help us achieve our goals faster. And I have to tell you, it's been enlightening. I have had some unbelievable conversations with people and I've gotten to know them better. And it's very interesting to find out about different industries and really how we all can help each other to succeed.
I was trying to find out from our interview series how many people we've gotten to meet and chat, and you can ask them about how they got started and their
Yes.
businesses, and it's been terrific. So I'm glad you have your podcast. Where can
Yes.
people find that?
They can find it on YouTube and 7 other podcast channels. So pick your favorite and you will find us there at B2B Marketing Excellence.
Okay, we'll highlight a couple of those in our caption. And Donna Peterson, CEO of World Innovators, based in Connecticut. Final thought for us today?
Just go out and build relationships. And that really is across the board. It doesn't have to be just in regards to business, but you know, just taking the time, slow down a bit and build those deep relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. Donna Peterson, CEO, World Innovators. Great to talk with you today, and we're going to look forward to watching episodes of your podcast. I'm sure it's a terrific one.
Oh, thank you very much, Ken. It was great being here with you today.
Good to be with you today. And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI and CBSI Talking Business, highlighting our team at CBSI. We're based in Harrison, New York. We provide insurance-based benefits to the credit card and payments industry. So have a great day, and thank you for watching.